All right, now we're good. We're live. All right, dude. Well, at least you have a face this week. I mean,
At least you have somebody who's
It's gonna
that
be a little
close,
weird for
technically.
everybody.
see, you should
That's
never
right.
do that face and expect to get any. Just letting you know,
It's
because that right there will make the gates of hell
It is
close.
streaming.
it's a cast of shadows.
It's a something, all right.
Here you go.
Anyway,
Well, Merry Christmas, everybody! Thank you for joining this week.
Yep,
This
sounds
is
good.
the Bear Thoughts Podcast. We do this every Friday, usually around 5 o'clock Central Standard Time or 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for those who are on the East Coast. Where we talk about a multitude of things, and we usually don't have a schedule or titles. Usually, we just kind of come off the cuffs and just start talking about things. But today, I do have one topic that I want to talk to you. I'm sure Corby will have one too.
well, I've got
Uh,
a couple of items I'm going to show you. We'll talk about is what we're going to do.
Gotcha. So, before we get to that, I want to talk about, since I think we can talk about it now, since the time has passed, and we won't think that ass will ever hear about it. So, how are you enjoying your workload now, and the celebration of now you have lost your manager? How much
Me
is that?
personally,
Yeah.
oh my god, dude, it's like a completely different work environment. I don't
Mhm.
wake up in the morning and have to talk myself into going in. I just go in and do what I got to do and get shit done. I
Isn't
don't
it
have to
great?
jump through a bunch of political bullshit. I can go directly to the people I need to ask, "Hey, can I get this? Get this done? Get this done?" You know, it's it's a completely different environment. It's like it
Mhm.
was prior when I first started there.
It's so amazing to me that how much a managerial position at a job can literally change an entire outlook of employees at a workplace so easily. And then everybody can go from either being like, like everything's going great, wonderful, they make it easier, or they just make life this living hell every day at going into work. And it's how much of a shift it can be to vary on person to person. And it can even be like a nice manager. Even nice managers can do poor jobs where you're having to um, take up their slack
Yep,
or make up for what they're not good at, just as much as an asshole that just wants to take care to just use the system to their advantage until the day they finally get their upcoming.
absolutely. I agree 100%. The thing is, the sad part is when he first came on, he was doing the job that I am currently doing. Okay?
Mm.
And knew that he used to do the job.
And knew that I used to do the job because he would come to me as he was learning shit and I would help him. And I can say this with 100% complete transparency. He was a fantastic site lead. He did what he had to do in that job in that role. He did it to the best of his ability. If he didn't know what it was, he asked the right people, got the answers, he took care of business. It wasn't until he was promoted and I moved from being the communications lead back to being a site lead that he just stopped. For whatever reason, he stopped either caring or felt like because of his new position, he had um,
Power trip.
more power and didn't have to do certain things or perform a certain way. So the after that, it has been 3 years of shit.
Mm.
Um, and then this past year specifically has been rough because on top of knowing what management was trying to plan because of what he has done or has not done, should I say, um, I'm not supposed to let him know what's going on. I'm supposed to keep an eye out in case he fucks something up and let them know so they can get ahead of it. And I'm not supposed to let any of this out. This shit's been going on for a year.
Mm.
Okay? So
It's
the
a
last
shift.
year has just been shit because I'm trying to do my job, trying to help him learn how to straighten his shit up because in reality, yes, me and him didn't see eye to eye, but I don't like to see anybody lose their job. What I wanted
Mm.
him to do was to learn to do his job. And I was trying to help him as well as do my job as well as do what people above him have asked me to do pertaining to him. And all that shit's going on at one time. And it's every minute of the 8 hour day that I'm at work that this shit's going on. So I'm stressed. I was stressed the fuck out. I was shot out.
Yeah, and it's always up to the higher managers to make sure that people are not stressed out. People have a place to go, talk about it, correlate. And of course, a study showed. That's why I want to bring this up. A study shows that people, after so long working at a work environment, they start to forget almost what their jobs require of them, and they get complacent, and they try to find a way to, what's the word for it, like uh, micromanage their position to an easier standpoint where they don't do as much work in order to get the job done. And that even goes to the point of delegating their workload onto other people. And the study shows that, like, every year or so, they say that you should be retrained and reminded of all the positions and all the work you're supposed to do. But also, you should go your position. If you're a manager position, you should be forced to go and work the floor where you're managing to remind yourself what it requires for those employees to do their job, what it requires to do that. And there's supposed to be a recurring thing that
Right.
a lot of mental positions
Right.
just forget. Like,
And
he's
see,
pushing on everybody else. I'm a manager.
that's kind of why he's supposed or the person in that position was supposed to travel for a week at the time to each one of his employees' locations. Spend a week with that person, reminding yourself what that person is responsible for, what they deal with on a daily basis, how they have to deal with things, what kind of personalities they're dealing with, so that you can gauge how to help the people you're working with. Problem is we were finding out he was traveling way more than the once a year for a week to each site. He was traveling, 6 months out of a 12-month year, and he wasn't doing any of that. He was just traveling, getting points, eating food, and getting it comped on the company. Staying in hotels,
Vacations.
but pretty much vacations to fund his
Vacations as a
vacations for his family, because he would then turn around and take the points he earned for taking these trips and stuff, because Cleaver lets you use those points however you want to. Because they were earned by you doing the travel. It's kind of like a, hey, thank you for doing all the traveling. Here, you can keep the points if you want to buy tickets for your family to fly somewhere or something.
Which is why they have you use your own cards and then reimburse you.
Right. So he was taking those points and using them to buy the plane tickets that took him on the vacations for his family. So it was
An abuse of power.
It was abuse of power. It was stressful. It was hard knowing that I'm going in every day, and the person that's supposed to be my manager, I'm still having to help them do their job.
Yeah.
Wait.
And
then on top of it, I start working there, and he's harassing me.
Yeah. What the hell? Of all the women in the building, you can pick. You pick your employee's wife to harass.
Yeah,
Seriously, bro? Like, I mean, you couldn't have picked somebody else's wife in the building that you don't even know, that you don't interact with, that you're not sitting in a room hours on end with?
Yeah, somebody maybe out on the floor instead of out in the office. Yeah, so glad that you have done. My wife is kind of having to learn some managerial positions and take some leading roles, and I'm trying to make sure she doesn't get like her. She has a manager above her, right? So she's just a team lead, which is a manager position of the medical assistants, and she's on a 9 month or 9 week probation, which I think is kind of crazy, but whatever. I understand it, but I don't very much like it. Because she's doing all this work pretty much for free, and she's slowly getting to where she's doing her job plus her old job plus she has to learn another job, and her manager is just like, yeah, we just need you to know how to do this. Like, yeah, I know what that means. AKA, we need you to do your job plus other people's job. If someone calls out or we don't have the staffing position to fill in those roles, you got to do it. I'm like, no,
Right.
that's not your job anymore. Your job is manager position of the EMR, not the EMR and front desk and everything else in between. And her and the manager's job herself. It's like, you're not gonna do that.
Look,
And that's something I tried to stress to her before. She listens and understands that. But I'm just hoping that this now gets more of a comfortable position, but not a position for your company to just go, let's just push all the work on to everybody else to do it. And
No,
was
the head of my department has stopped by probably once a day, every day since it happened, to have a 30-minute conversation with me, make sure that I don't feel like I'm overloaded, that I don't have more stress on me, to make sure I'm not feeling any kind of adverse effects from them releasing him. Matter of fact, they created a position that won't be managing anybody, but will be doing some of the roles, some of the things he did do, for the sole purpose because they didn't want to lump that on me.
Yeah.
You know, he's
yes,
trying really hard to not make this become something that's negative on me because I did nothing wrong. And he's pretty good about that. He's a pretty good guy when it comes to that kind of thing. So I have mad respect for the guy that runs our department. You know, he tries to do everything the best he can in the best way he could. If he could have dealt with this situation sooner, he would have, but because of past experiences in other departments in similar situations, it took time to get all the info the way that our human resources department required it to make this happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I hope that all pans out. But okay, so let's talk about this next one. Have you seen the new trailer for the King Kong movie?
You mean the one that the one where they're gonna have a villain that's a Kong?
Yes.
Yes, I have.
Okay, so I've heard some people having the two-sided arguments, and I want to get your point because you're much more of a Kong and Godzilla fan than I ever was.
Right.
And I've seen some of the old Godzilla movies, but not all of them. So they're bringing back the old trope of there's actually going to be a main villain, and it's going to be another, kaiju, and it's going to be I wouldn't say a gorilla.
He's an orangutan.
Orangutan.
He's
okay.
an orangutan.
And this one is going to be kind of like the old trope of there's a villain and the good guys of the kaiju, King Kong and Godzilla, are going to be joining forces to combat this foe.
Yeah.
And King Kong has like a gauntlet arm thing going on now, and Godzilla has like purple spikes. I don't really know what that's about, but now he has like purple spikes.
I can help you with that. Just continue, and I'll help you.
So people are complaining that it's not going to be like a story that is going to be, human driven, and there's just this almost godlike beings are just fighting over territory or over resources or just being bad, creatures that can.
The thing is if you go back and watch, especially the old Godzilla movies, mm-hmm. other than a couple of them where he destroyed Tokyo, most of them was him coming out to fight with another kaiju.
Like a superhero. Right?
Like a superhero. To fight. That's what it was about. The first time he ran into Mothra, they weren't buddy-buddy. He had to put the smack down on her ass. A lot of them were like that. Rodan, he beat the shit out of Rodan. And it literally, he would try to take the fight to him in a non-populated area. If you notice, a lot of them took places on what looked like little deserted islands out in the middle of the ocean, and they would just wreck the damn place. It wasn't human driven. Godzilla is not trying to save humanity. People keep getting this part wrong. Okay, does he want to go out and destroy humanity? Absolutely not. That is not what he's about. Godzilla is strictly trying to keep the balance for the planet, for what he considers home. So anything he feels like threatens that balance, King Ghidorah, humans, Rodan, anything, he will stand up and we come get some. You know,
Yeah.
that's what he does. So they can fuss about it not being human driven, but they need to remember that almost 90% of the movies about Godzilla weren't human driven to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, at one point, humans let Martians come take him to fucking Mars to fight a space kaiju. Okay, it wasn't about humanity; it's about the balance of the planet. Like, for example, here people bitched when Kong versus Godzilla first come out because the trailer had Godzilla attacking a human settlement. And they're like, but Godzilla's here to save humans. No, motherfucker, he's not. In there was something he felt like was threatening humanity, whether it was a human, a kaiju, what the hell ever, something was in there and he was trying to get to it. Notice he didn't go on a rampage on an island 12 miles south. He went to a specific spot. Whatever was there was the problem. He's not trying to save humanity, but he's not trying to wipe it out. He just wants shit to be peaceful. I want it like this. I want to be able to go back and hibernate, take my damn nap, and people leave me the fuck alone. I did this shit for hundreds of years and everything worked out good, and then somebody had to go dig around in a damn hole somewhere and start this shit up again, you know? Or break a 3-headed demon dragon out of the damn frost. So, it's never been about saving humanity or humanity driving Godzilla or humanity really trying to kill Godzilla if he happens to smash Tokyo. It's always been about Godzilla is a kaiju. Earth is his home. He wants a balance. He wants a peace amongst all kaiju so everybody can chill and live in harmony. That's all it is.
Yeah, especially since it's pretty much a huge, vast underworld in the movies. Like it's like a well-known, like there is almost another world inside of Earth.
Yeah.
That
Hollow Earth is a completely different ecosystem from what we see on top of Earth. It's where all the Kong race originated. They come up to Skull Island, and I think you're going to find out why in this next movie. They didn't leave because they wanted to. There was multiple things going on. There was big bads. There was, the skull crusher thing, 8 little lizard dudes. There's a number of things that made them leave Hollow Earth and come to the surface. Okay? Godzilla's always known about Hollow Earth. He never really gave a shit about it because most of what happened down there stayed down there, It's like a bottle. Bottle's holding the liquid. As long as there's a cork on the top, you don't give a shit if somebody shakes that motherfucker around or anything. But as soon as somebody breaks that glass and shit starts running out, now you care.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And I thoroughly enjoy watching 2 giant ass monsters throw down. I don't give a shit. If you put your city in a location where a kaiju pops out, well, you fucked yourself. I'm sorry. Bend over, grab your ankles, kiss your ass goodbye.
Like, unless the kaiju itself, like the bad one, is attacking humans, it's normally not going to predicate itself to be a kaiju versus kaiju fast in an Earth or a human location. So, I would say I look forward to it, but it definitely has that vibe of old school. Now, what is with the purple spikes on his back?
Okay, so most people don't know this unless you're an avid Godzilla fan. But Godzilla, the color of his atomic breath changes as he matures. So the older he gets, the color changes. The more powerful it gets. Because as the color changes, it gets stronger. Now, you're talking about a creature that's been living, I don't know, hell, hundreds of thousands of years? I don't fucking know. I'm not sure about that part. But I'm sure he started out with something like white and then blue. And then he had that kind of bluish green that we've been seeing. Now he's at purple,
So it's a way of telling. It's a way of telling or seeing evolutions or
Yes,
amount of fights he's been through.
yes.
Maybe.
I think it's a way of telling his maturity, his age, is what I think. The older he gets, the stronger he gets. It's just like Kong. Hell, when Kong was a baby, he was stronger than most fucking tanks and shit. As he gets older and bigger, he gets stronger. I mean, you wouldn't have put baby Kong against Godzilla. He'd have ate him like a snack. The last movie, he was old enough that he held his own until Godzilla was about to atomic breath his ass, you know?
And I know the kaiju all live for a very long time. It's not
Yes.
just like a standard animal or human time. So my thought is this baby Kong that's showing up in the trailers is, I guess, a resident or a missing child of the Kongs that were obviously wiped out by what we thought was a Godzilla creature, but now it might be this very aggressive chimpanzee.
Well, they've always had a bit of a power struggle, the Kongs and the Zillas, but the biggest two things that they've had to deal with over the years, or three things, was King Ghidorah on the Godzilla side, and the orangutan King Skull, whatever the fuck his name is, on the Kong side, and then they've both had to deal with Skull Crushers their entire life. Because them little fuckers pop up like rats, you know?
All right.
So I think what they're doing is, since in the last movie, they had Kong throw the assist to Godzilla on taking down Mechagodzilla, they're going to have Godzilla throw the assist to Kong on dealing with this fucking orangutan.
Okay. So do you think this orangutan has a is it like do you think this orangutan is a new stance on a kaiju, or you think this is a throwback to one of the original characters like Mechagodzilla?
I can't remember where he showed up at, but he has showed up in the, well, something like him has showed up in the past. They created him the way he is now. He wasn't as he is in the new movie. He never existed. Okay.
Okay, I was thinking this like maybe a remaster, like Mechagodzilla. Here comes another character, and we can kind of follow a pattern of them bringing back creatures from the past of the old movies.
Well, in the old movies, Kong didn't. He had fought other Kongs, but they never had a name. They wasn't nobody special or nothing like that. It was just a fight, right? What they did is, from what I understand, is they were looking for a way to make a kaiju that would require the two of them. Okay? And they're like, well, we know Kong has fought other Kongs before. So we'll start with the basis that it's going to be some kind of a Kong, whether it's orangutan, gorilla, what the hell ever. Okay? And then we're going to make him a badass. And make it require the two of them. And that's what they did.
Okay. And the gauntlets, I'm assuming humans are starting to almost work with Kong, since Kong
well, with Kong, it's a different thing. Kong doesn't want to hurt anybody. Not really. I mean, hell, he grew up with a tribe that he helped for years survive on that island, you know? He don't want to hurt anybody. Now, that don't mean he won't step on you and smash you like a bug if you fuck with somebody he cares about. But he's not that type of thing. So out of the two of them, Kong and Zilla, Kong has more of a, he's closer to a human intellect and understanding than Godzilla is. So it's easier for them to communicate with him, work with him. I mean, you've seen one girl that little girl had already learned sign language and was talking to him, you know. Yeah. So it's not that he can't be communicated with. So it wouldn't surprise me if humans didn't take an interest and say, hey, he could be somebody that could help us. Because what people won't realize, there is something that nobody's noticed. He hasn't been called King Kong yet. At all. He's only been Kong. They're writing this in a way that you can see the progression from Kong to King Kong. How did he become king? He become king because he
Gotcha.
stomped this king's ass that wanted to be a dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
They had to
So obviously
write
they're gonna
something
win.
for that.
Yeah. Because obviously they're gonna win. Because they're not gonna just make these characters just in it for losing. It's never like that in a hero like movie. And humans, I thought it was nice that since Kong has been so avid with the humans going, you know what? If you're gonna fight these big mecha or big creatures that are causing havoc on Earth, why not give a almost sentient creature the ability and weaponry to help combat these creatures? Because
Yeah.
like they're not gonna give Godzilla like some mecha armor on his body and say, all right, now you're gonna be strong and you're gonna be protected. He's not gonna be much like trying to sign language like you said to the humans. But Kong's like, hey, give me a weapon, see what I do with it. I have axe, let's try fist.
I have
Um,
opposable thumbs, baby. I can hold shit.
Yeah, so it is interesting to see that, and I do like the kind of the fighting because we both liked, I forget the name of the movies, but the robots, the mecha movies that came out a couple years back.
Oh, you're talking about the
Rim, Persona Rim.
shit. Yeah, Pacific Rim and
Rim.
yeah.
Yeah, so we love those kind of stuff. We both said we were very much a fan of that, and well, I'm still hoping one day that they do a collaboration with King Kong. I
Big
thought
ass
the movie
mecha
was
suits and kaiju's throwing down that shit. I love it.
yeah, that's a
The
classic.
humans in the movie might not when shit falls on them, but that brings up a funny point. This is gonna get you to giggle. All these kaiju movies we've watched, I've never seen a kaiju turd fall and hit nothing. They got to be shitting while they fighting. They have to be. So, where's the scene where some poor dude in a Volvo is riding down the road and a big ass plop of a kaiju turd hits him?
Oh yeah. And this last movie that came out with the Godzilla movie, I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I watched someone's cultural analysis on the movie, and it was pre-war times where Japan was just after they got nuked and so on, and then Godzilla shows up to fight something, and he was saying like though there was no humans being torn up and ripped apart, there's plenty of humans being just stomped on, just like he's not trying to kill them, but like they're just little bugs, and he's just in their path, and you just see them just floom right on top of thousands of cars and
Yeah, he's
thousands of
just
people
trying
at
to
a
deal
time.
with the big bad. He ain't worried about the little shit.
Yeah, so it's definitely a notice. Like, yeah, they're fighting for things, but there's no siren going, Godzilla's coming, everybody evacuate the town. You got like 10 minutes. That's not enough time to evacuate the whole town.
No.
And of course they say, well, America, the government gets involved. All they do is like, okay, just nuke it. That's not going to work. It never works. Especially just when the creature is pretty much an atomic bomb itself. So
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
looking
they
forward to seeing that
restarted
movie.
his heart with a fucking atomic weapon.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing the next movie. Looking forward to seeing the movie that just came out. I'm glad they do it, but I'm hoping they don't get to a point like the Willy Wonka movie that's just coming out. My wife was like, "Oh my god, another Willy Wonka movie! Why they keep out with coming with Willy Wonka movies and Spider-Man movies?" I'm like, "Honey, it's copyright law. If they don't use it after a while, they lose the right to the franchise, and someone else can buy it, and then they can make a movie on it.
And
The
they
only way they
always
can
think that they can improve on it. They always think they can improve on it.
Sometimes they do.
And sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. But, I mean, you don't know until you try. That's all there is to it.
So, copyright laws having it where you got to make a movie, and they're going to try to make as much of them as they can. And as long as Godzilla has, well, the years of monsters that they have come up with, we haven't seen Godzilla fight Mega Mothra yet. His wife, right? It's his wife, right? I'm not mistaken about that.
Yep.
He's
They're a
he's
thing.
married or dating.
I don't know if he's married. I just think they a thing.
Yeah, big moth with a lizard. I don't know how exactly that works, but I guess mustard parts don't work like humans. That's
Hey.
quite
Oh,
how
I'm
you
gonna
have
send him
child
a clip of that because I found a little video.
That you'll find funny.
It's so cute.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
It's adorable.
So I'm gonna show you some of the stuff first.
Okay.
Okay.
It's all been removed. So.
Okay. So I'm gonna show you this, and then I'm gonna show you one I've unpackaged. So I found these.
Okay, get a little closer. I'm about to move my. Okay.
They're battery.
10 LED packs. Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
put it on mine.
and this is how they work. They're waterproof first. That's cool.
Okay.
3 AAA batteries, so they're wireless.
Uh-huh.
They have a remote, and let me find there it is. Okay. Right?
How many lumens is that?
I don't know. I have to look at the pack, but it's pretty bright.
Yeah, that's
And,
pretty bright.
That's white. That's light blue. That's a darker blue. You can't really. It's not really coming off on camera because it's so bright. But
yes, it is a little glary.
But here you go. I'll put it on
I
the
can
jump.
I can see the color gamut.
There we go.
All right. Okay. So this looks a little bit bigger than your usual.
It
LED.
is. It's almost 3¼ inches.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Will work really good when I finish designing some bases for them to sit in, for you to like sit figurines on that are clear or whatever for lights and stuff. So I got a couple of those. What I'm doing is I've designed a base for this.
That's a Superman bust, right?
Yep. Yeah, I designed a base for this so that we can do stuff like on and stuff like this, or that, or that, or that. You know.
His chest definitely has a lot more of the color coming through. Okay.
So the idea is I'm gonna use these in that I bought one. Well, Stealthy bought me one for the Superman, and then when we went back, I got 2 more. Something else that you'll find interesting at this local discounted store, I found, or Stealthy found, should I say, 50-foot HDMI cables.
50 foot? The bandwidth to be able to go that long? Okay.
Yes, it does. We're talking 4K and 3D compatible. Got these for like little or nothing. Like they were cheaper than some of the ones that are like 10 foot.
All right. So
I got these because when I got 2 of these because when I rearranged the living room, I'm going to reroute her cables for her streaming so that they're protected, but I needed more cable length.
Yeah, okay.
And then
that was $13.
Yeah, $13. Not bad. I got 2 of them.
Uh-huh.
You know.
So we'll know if they're any good.
Got some coffee pods because coffee has been my friend here lately. So we got us some butterscotch.
Uh-huh.
And the boys, I got them some hot cocoa pods. So this one's just milk chocolate.
Yeah.
This one is s'mores cocoa.
Oh.
And
My wife's
then
been trying to find a s'more. Yeah, it was like a marshmallow s'more Starbucks at Walmart's, and last year they had it for the Christmas season. So she's like, "Okay, Christmas is around again. I'm gonna buy me some more of those. I love them. Every time we go to Walmart, they never have any." So she's like, "God given, where are they?"
So Stealthy.
By the way, the white chocolate caramel one of those, I love it. Corvo likes the sweet and salty caramel that they have.
Stealthy bought her something.
Ah, classic. Hot chocolate, right?
No. Read it.
Hot chocolate?
This is a Margaritaville jam in the sun wireless stick it in the ground speaker that you Bluetooth to your phone and you jam on the beach.
Let's see, y'all go on a beach trip?
Well, we've went a couple times in the past year or so and have enjoyed ourselves. Now, I bought something for music for the fire pit. You want to see what I bought?
Sure.
I allowed him to buy it, he says.
Yeah, allowed. You know it's true. Oh, God dang it, it's big.
This is my Bluetooth speaker.
Bluetooth. Your neighbors would be like, God, give it, keep it down.
And then the thing that Stealthy really wants to show you more than anything, I'll even let her do the honors.
I think you'll be happy with this.
This will be what gets you the most excited.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. The Dungeons and Dragons dragon thing. I am looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Which, Rollover, if you're watching this podcast, we need to get you in the Discord, man. You need to get involved with the community so we can get you in the game. Because my birthday, if we haven't played a game by then, I definitely want it on my birthday. Leo and everybody else, get yourself situated so we can play. Given.
I bought it, and there's several more copies in there.
Nice. Okay.
So if you want one, so that you can follow along.
What do you mean, like copies? Explain that, because my brain is like copies.
There's more sets.
Dice sets?
More of these whole units at the store.
It's a 4-pack or something?
No. What I'm saying is,
okay, hang on. I haven't even.
This is the entire campaign for this, right? They have multiple. Like I could have bought 4 or 5 of these.
Oh.
She's saying if you.
We gotta play one campaign first, then we can start building another campaign.
What she's saying though is if you wanted one of your own.
Nah. Well, I'm not DM. I just feel like I would suck at it.
Well, it's not for DM purposes.
It's not strictly for DM. This is for the game.
This has ow, freaking box, ow. Release.
Release the demon. Or forgive. That is a D&D thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, this is basically us just opening it. It's got everything. It's got the hero boards, the key moments, the map. So like, if you wanted to see, if he tells you what pieces to put together, you can see where we are on the map and all that shit. Mm-hmm. The scenario book, the rule book, and the thing that I think you'll probably like the most. Shit. Okay, so here's the map pieces that fell off, obviously. Here's the dice. Some of the dice. Obviously, you don't have to use these. They've got the little icons and stuff. The cards and...
What is that? Oh, it's the humans, I guess? Or monsters?
This one looks like a barbarian. Or maybe a rogue.
They're pre-made, but... I found one that I figured you'd like.
Yeah, dwarf. Yeah, that looks like a dwarf barbarian. I could be wrong, but I think the little guy's cute.
And then they have a couple others, so. But those are barbarians.
Pretty sure this is a spellcaster. What do you think?
Yeah, a warlock or wizard, one of the two. Which, if anybody's watching the podcast, and you're saying something in the chat, I'm sorry. I'm trying to pull it up.
I don't see any activity right now in chat.
Okay. I'm going to check real fast and see if anybody's saying anything. I notice I have not been looking because, well, I'm on my phone doing all this stuff. So
Archer. So yeah, I mean, we got all these we got all this. This thing come with all kinds of shit. So
That's why I said, like, it's not necessarily you have to DM. It's just if you want a way to follow along, that's a good way to do it.
All you see me in the thumbnail right now is I'm doing this. Okay,
but
there we go. I got my.
yeah,
All right.
that's some of the stuff that we just got. I finally went and bought the hot water heater element, so probably tomorrow I'll change that out so our hot water won't run out in like 15 minutes.
I need to finish
Yeah.
cleaning up that area so that I can do the Superman
Some
heater.
sometime this week, adult stuff. For those who are watching, sometime this week I gotta go out to my water heater and drain it and then refill it back up, without trying to make sure it blows up. Because our water heater isn't very big, and I'm sure it could use a good emptying out. Because
Well, I gotta drain mine, take the element out, put the new element in, and fill it back up, and then wait for it to heat up.
yeah, it's always fun when you have to do that kind of stuff. All right, so here's my next topic, and I want to get your thoughts on it. Okay, you used to play World of Warcraft at one time, right?
Yes.
You said that, and I'm sure you played World of Warcraft Classic, and you played like probably up to like maybe Burning Crusade or to Wrath of the Lich King.
I got all the way. Well, shit, my packs are around here somewhere. I still have my packs, but yeah, I think we got up to Lich King in the DLCs. I was an avid fan of Night Elves, and I love being a Druid Night Elf.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you were one of those players. Okay, so World of Warcraft has a thing called World of Warcraft. You played the one class, everybody else was like, nope, not playing it. If someone called me and I can't the call because I'm in the middle of my podcast, I'll call them back later. Anyways, so they had this thing where people for a long time were asking for World of Warcraft Classic. They were tired of the modern day Warcraft. They didn't like the story. Like, hey, bring back Warcraft. And Blizzard's like, hey, you say you want that, but trust me, you don't want that. You don't want that. And come to find out that yes, fans very much wanted it, so much so
Yep.
where they started their own servers. And Blizzard went, oh, it's really popular. Let's close those servers because that's technically our product, and let's make our own thing. So they did. They made World of Warcraft Classic. It blew up. Everybody was super happy and excited for it. Then another community started this hardcore thing where you have to make it to level 60 and do all the raids before you're allowed your character to die. Because the character died before then, you had to delete the character. You could no longer play it. So Blizzard went, hey, that's a good idea. We'll make servers and like specifically for that. So if your character does die, you cannot bring that character back at all. Either you start all over again or you run around that character in the ghost form. That's all you can do. Nothing else. So that was really big. Now they released this, they call it Season of Discovery. And this is why I call it remastering here. Where they're taking old World of Warcraft and they're adding things to the game that they originally wanted to do for the game that they couldn't back then. And adding new dungeons and raids and gears, quests, and specialized stuff for each class. And I want to get your thoughts on the games that you would like to see that happen to. Like it's still like the old school World of Warcraft classic that everybody knows and a lot of people love. Obviously, they just taken like, hey, the stuff we couldn't do at the time, but now we can, and we're gonna add it to our game, and we're gonna add new content to that game that's gonna be totally within the idea of the world and quests and all that stuff like that. And I'm playing it with my wife on your laptop that thankfully is strong enough to play it because it's classic World of Warcraft. I played Warcraft on a very bad, poorly computer bad Acer or Acer, whatever you want to call it, back in the 2000s. That thing had no graphics card in it. You could pretty much run old classic Warcraft on a potato PC nowadays.
But yeah,
So
I think there's some games I would like for them to go back and do some of that too. Like I would like for them to revisit Septerra's core, add
Mm-hmm.
some new content to it, maybe some get a little more in depth with some of the characters as far as you know you know how you meet them, you know why they join you, but you don't know shit about them prior to that or their background. And I would like to see that would be a game that would be good. Let's see.
Like,
I
is
would
even online games that you would like to see them, like it still has that that
Fiesta.
feel of that game. Yes, yeah,
Fiesta.
Fiesta. Like was there stuff like back in when Fiesta was made that you know about that they could not do because of like time limitations, graphics, computer
Absolutely.
hardware, and that would
Absolutely.
totally revitalize the game, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I'm thinking that too many nowadays people are like so focused on either like remastering a game from scratch when they could just take a game that was already made and just add new stuff to it. Like if they turned Final Fantasy VIII, let's just say for Final Fantasy VIII, and took the entire game as it is right now, nothing new to it, and started adding new stuff to that game. Would that be? It would be a really a remastering, but it would be expanding on the game where they couldn't back then.
Exactly.
I would like
I
to see
would
that
call
as
that an I would call that updating.
hmm
That's what I would call it.
or or mods by the developers instead of mods by fans, but mods by developers. Because pretty much that's what it is. Warcraft is it's a bunch of new content that they just put into the game that is not usually there, or they couldn't have it there at the time. Um, I just think this is a good thing that games are not going to be just like let's say like speedrun games, right? They're reused over and over and over again, but it's nothing really new. But fans have made something to keep the game alive,
Right.
keep the game played, and I feel like more games should be like that, where stop trying to make a new game, just take the old game and now add stuff to it, just expand upon it.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean
do you
that
think
could
it was like
that could very much take an old game and revitalize it, knock the dust off of it, get people reinterested in it. Yes, I agree 100%.
bring it
Um,
back to life instead of just
I think there's games that qualify for that, and then I think there's games that would benefit from completely being redone too, with better
mm-hmm,
graphics and all that stuff. So it's kind of a toss up. You have everybody's got a subjective opinion as to what game would be better remastered versus updated. Um,
mm-hmm,
like personally, I think it would be better to remaster 8 than to update it. I
mm-hmm.
think better graphics, better battle, better battle simulations, better interactions, more open world, less linear driven. I think that would be great for that game.
You think graphics are? I know the would probably say subjective, but you think graphics would bring new people into trying out the game, or you think
Yes.
graphics are just like the turn of the time, like it's the new hot thing to
No,
do?
I think if you take a person that played it classically, the way it originally was released, and you tell
Mm,
them I'm going to re-release this game, but this time we're going to do it with the graphics that it should have been able to be done with, you're going to have a lot of people wanting to try it out. Because you got to
I'm glad new
remember
generation.
you spent some of these games like 8, you might have spent 3 or 4 months playing this game of your life, and it wasn't the most graphically intense game. So a lot of what you've seen you filled in with your mind. In
Yeah.
reality, you don't realize it, but you sit there and think about Ifrit or Shiva, and you can tell every detail how they're marked and everything. But if you pull that image up from that game and really look at it, you realize that a lot of those details you don't really see in the game. But you knew
Mm,
they were there. You knew they were supposed to be there because your mind filled in the gaps. Now
yeah.
you take somebody and say, "Hey, you're not going to have to do that. we're gonna make it the way you visualized it. Hell yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the first one at the store.
Uh,
I'm gonna throw hands, elbows, knees, feet, whatever. You gonna give me mine?
yeah. Well, a lot of people are saying that like even to nowadays, World of Warcraft Classic has like just the old school style look where someone said style over look or style over graphics, like it's stylized rather than its high fidelity graphics can make a game transcend time, right? It looks good no matter what generation you play it as.
Yeah.
And they're saying like World of Warcraft Classic is the whole reason why they've got into World of Warcraft in modern day. They would never even touch it in their younger generation or sometimes older generation. They're like, I never played it, never wanted to play it, but now I've seen everybody play this game. I want to see what it's about, and they're gotten into the game now because of classic, not of retail, which retail has much more graphics, more things. And I'm just wondering if graphics, if it's just Warcraft being a stylized thing, or if it's just if they would have done this whole World of Warcraft Classic in a more modern day graphics, whether that even expanded it even further beyond what it is now. Like, could that bring in
I
more people?
think it would have pulled more people that haven't played it in.
Mm,
It might would have pushed some of the people that had away though, because they have their idea and preconceptions of how it was supposed to be versus how it is becoming.
mm.
So then you're looking at the situation. If you're a company trying to make money, then you have to look at, what do I have the biggest pool of people? Do I have the biggest pool of people that played Classic and are expecting it this way? Or I have a big pool of people that didn't play it at all and these graphics can pull in, because you can't do both. So you got to
Gotcha.
pick, and then you got to hope that that pool that you picked was the largest pool of people.
Yeah. If anybody's wondering, I got to play this game thanks to my wife and my mother-in-law giving her some money, and she just bought us some time. So, um, it's not very expensive, but she's the one who bought it. I'm broke. But yeah, I just like the idea. Of course, some people were asking like they wanted Warcraft to be like, okay, let's in retail, it's in classic. Let's just make a brand new World of Warcraft from the beginning. Make a brand like the world, the graphics, the looks, the quest. Let's just start from scratch. And some people are just like, let's just keep the classic. Don't mess with what's not broken. The purists, you might say, they're into that look and that those memory
That
of nostalgia.
right, that comes down to, you have a game, you get attached to that game. That game means something to you on a personal level. Um, you don't want to see it fall by the wayside. And yes, a lot of them will say, "Well, that would never happen," because they would try to say that the classic is the better. In reality, what they're really thinking is I don't want this to happen, because if it comes out and it's more popular and it's better and it's more received, they may get rid of my game.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so real quick, did you play back in the day? Was your PvP server RP, PvE, player versus environment? Like, what was your server?
I was a RP server.
Yours RP server. So, did y'all have PvP on your server? Like, did y'all like was open world PvP a thing, or
No, the server we were on, I specifically picked it because I am not a big fan of PvP. I'm just not.
okay. Okay, so this is my question for you, and there's a bit of a argument on this point of view. Some people want the classic and so many other of the servers to be um, open world PvP. Pretty much, you're flagged for PvP no matter where you are, who you are, what level. And some people's arguments is that is more fun. That's more true to the world environment. Because there is a conflict in factions in the game. And one person's argument is, while you find it personally enjoyable ganking somebody for, like, remember I was on PvP, I was ganked for hours sometime. I couldn't play some days. And when you are on a subscription based game, you want to make every minute counts in that game. You're spending monthly payments to keep playing this game. Every minute counts.
Right.
And they're saying like, oh, it's just that's just a part of the game. It's part of the experience. It's being ganked. Where they're saying, what the other person is saying is, you are taking on a person knowing that you have an advantage on them, either a numbers advantage, gear advantage, class advantage with certain things. You are then taking that person's hours and times away
Right.
from them,
I
and not
I
letting them
look at
play
it
the
like
game.
this. I look at it like this.
Mm,
I get that, yes, if everybody could kill anybody at any time, that would be more true to the world. I get that. I will concede that point because at any
mm,
moment, someone from the horde could fucking gank someone from a different faction. I understand that. However, this is a game. You are spending money to play it. You're working your ass off to get what you get. Some asshole that's 100 levels above you shouldn't be able to walk by and smite your ass and take everything.
yeah,
That's not
and
that's
this,
not fair because at that point, hell, all you do is you take high levels and camp out right outside of maybe the third or fourth city. By then they're just leveled enough that the shit that they're getting, you could use it for materials to make stuff to make you better and stuff, and then you just sit there and kill people. It's not even a
yeah,
fight. It's not even a raid. It's not a monster. It's not a mob. It's not anything. You're just literally sitting there waiting to to basically bully new players, low level players. And that's not a
yes,
game. That is somebody on a fucking power trip. Because in
yeah,
life, they have no fucking power. So they want to excise the power they do have inside this game because they have sat there day in and day out and made themselves this immovable, unstoppable fucking monster of a player because they can't anywhere else. And they're taking it out on you.
yeah.
Usually whales.
And I'm a mind of, if you do that enough times, it starts becoming not just a detriment for the player, but for the game's longevity. As in, people are going to resent not just the player, but the game itself, because the developers allow for this kind of behavior so much to the degree they're going, you know what? I don't want to play no more.
That's
Every time I play, I can't even play.
that is why the ultimate solution is a PvP area.
Mm,
And everybody knows what it is. Because at
yes.
that point, if you cake your ass over there, you willingly walked into a place you could be murdered at any point. Outside of that area, you're good.
Mm,
Choice is a faction in this. Because I'm going to tell you, if I log in and I've logged in like 3 or 4 times throughout the week, and every time I log in there's a grumpy murdering me, I'm going to stop fucking playing. And if you're
yeah.
me, I'm probably that asshole that's going to reverse look up your IP address and show up and show you what a real fucking merkin is. Because
Yeah.
I
And
get pissed when people hinder my progress.
yeah, and some people were notorious on certain servers. Like it was because back then World of Warcraft, I mean memorabilia here. World of Warcraft was pretty much like Yahoo Message, where you could like it was a it was a new thing on online gameplay and talking to multiple people at one time and playing with multiple people. It wasn't very much an old standardized thing nowadays. So
Mm-hmm.
it had a different kind of beast
He's in
in
here.
that aspect where playing with other people online was new, and getting friends on there was new. So when I first joined the game, my friend was playing Brian. He got me introduced to the game, and he wanted me to join his server. And I was thinking, okay, um, I'll play Horde. And he's like, no, 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 play Alliance. I'm on the Alliance side, play Alliance. I'm like, okay. Well, I liked your Hunter. Your Hunter seems pretty cool, but I'm not really into the elves. I'm gonna play a dwarf because, look at me. So I went for dwarf, and I didn't know that the server was a 5-to-1 horde to alliance. You don't understand that? That was 5 hordes against 1 alliance
Ethan,
on average.
Lilith or Vader is in this
So
room.
I got ganked so many times in that game, yet I still played it, and I learned how to take on like 2 or 3 players at a time. It wasn't just this smooth, easy experience, and I literally had days that I couldn't play a game because
Yep.
something would be
Yep. And
all
that
day.
that would have pissed me off, and I would have stopped playing. See, that's
Mm-hmm.
like one of the reasons why
Meow meow in your room.
I was good with Fiesta because they clearly marked out the PvP zones. Like you had to
Mm-hmm.
go into PvP, into that zone, for that to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, they did have a problem where they had fucked up at the very beginning and had not locked drops, and that was kind of
It's still an
it was
issue.
kind of hysterical, but at the same time, it pissed you off when it happened to you. But you be sitting there watching this dude who's been fighting this damn hero slime for 5 minutes to kill this motherfucker. Soon as the items drop, you see somebody come flying by on their mouth. Click, 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 no. And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's another issue.
People taking your loot. Well, in Warcraft, you don't die. They can't take your loot, even though there's some games like that. Or you kill something, another faction or another player can come by and just take it from you. That normally it's personal loot. Um, but in Warcraft, you get to a certain level, which is usually Strengthord Valley. Is where like one of the first quest zones where Horde and Alliance go to level up at, and that's where the conflict begins. But otherwise, if you're a Horde or Alliance, you could go to the starting zones of the other faction and start killing them there. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I learned real quick. Like I didn't ever very much see Horde when I was starting to level. I maybe saw like once or twice, and then when I got the String of Thorn, I'm like, okay, brand new zone. I'm excited. Let's go. Let's see what this quest is about. And I realized how much of a difference between Horde and Alliance faction was in cause of numbers.
Yeah.
And I was awake. In for a rude awakening of what this game could give, and I'm in a mindset is if you're gonna put PvP, yeah, I think it should be in a zone that it's only PvP, and you should go there, but not have to be a requirement, right? Like you don't
Absolutely.
have to go there to win
Absolutely.
the money. You don't
Absolutely.
have to go there to get a special item. But if you do, you can get a nice item. It's like a reward, an incentive to go there and do that.
I
It's
agree.
based on your choice.
I agree wholeheartedly that I don't have a problem with PvP being in a game. I just don't want to be forced to have to go to that zone, and I want to know where that zone is clearly so I don't fuck up and get murdered.
And retail Warcraft, they have it now in retail where if you are where we're on the PvP server, you can flag yourself, pretty much turn PvP off or on. And if you do turn it on, you do get rewards for leveling faster, better gear sometimes. But you are now flagged for PvP, so you're open for conflict. But you can turn it off too. And some people are like, "Oh, that's terrible. It's horrible. I can't go and gank everybody anytime I want to and kill anybody anytime I want to just because I know I'm more powerful or I have friends with me." That's not fun. It's like it's a game first. It's not your social, as you called it, your social power fantasy where you can socialize with your friends and make yourself look cool at the same time or dominate somebody just because they were in a non-advantageous position where you have the
Agreed.
advantage.
Agreed.
Um, so I'm glad companies, and I wish more companies would take old games and just going, hey, what were we not able to do when the game released? Let's do it now. Let's do it now. We have the capability. Right now, I can't play Genshin Impact because, well, the PC that you gave me has a little problem. I don't know if it's a Wi-Fi. It might be the Wi-Fi because we've been having a lot of internet connections problems lately. So every Warcraft, every now and then it will just crash. Um, yeah, we're having somebody come out tomorrow. Hopefully, going to fix this internet problem we're having. On top of it, it's like if it rains and storms with me, I swear to God, it's one of those months I'm just having a terrible time. Um, but yeah, glad this is working. So I'm glad more developers are doing it, and I'm hoping they don't. More games developers need to listen to the fans of what they want, even though sometimes they're not always right. With like, hey, we want this, and find out you don't want it. But
Yep.
this is one time it's a big W for both the players and the developer. I know the Games Awards just came out like yesterday or today. Was any games on your list?
I haven't even seen the list yet, man. I ain't had time.
The Sea of Stars were on there like several times. I'm gonna see how many times they won. They won some of the last reward things for like indie best game indie or best indie game of the year. But this is another type of game awards. However, Sea of Stars win more because I think because there's a DLC for that game coming out. I'm hoping that game gets a lot of attention because I want more games like that.
I
I am
I I dude, I'm so excited for games to come. I'm also super excited for some of the shows that are coming. So I look I look forward to the next year of entertainment.
Oh, I saw the special editions for the Final Fantasy game with the Sephiroth figurine. Oh, that looks so good.
It did, didn't it?
If I had a PlayStation, I would get that. I like my figurines. What can I say?
Yep.
All right. So I don't know how long we've been going for. Keep
We
me out there.
are 5 minutes over, sir.
5 minutes. All right, we call it there. Thank you for those who are here. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, leave that comment down below, and share it with all your family and friends. Let's hit 300. I don't think we're hit 300 before the year's up, but we're already getting up there. I know a lot of people liking some of the newer videos lately, but just a little FY, if you're one of those people out there that likes that kind of, normally I wouldn't call them dramas. I just like to bring to light things that are not right, and try to criticize it in a way we should try to better society. So I won't call them dramas, but you may say that's drama. I'm not going to do a lot of those, so don't be looking forward to those. But if you do subscribe, hope you like some of the other content. Check them out. If I have them on the screen somewhere, I will. And as always, have a good day, have a good night, have a good life. Much love, y'all. Bye.